Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Phil from Zaid Comics. Thanks for tuning in. We're just doing a kind of random on short notice stream. I'm the writer of Magic Cop, as you can see the big poster in the background, and the Lost Pages, which there's a copy around here somewhere, which you guys can still get on Indiegogo. But today we're doing kind of a random review of a book that, I mean, you guys seen the title, you know what we're doing today. Let me know how well you could hear me, because I'm using a different mic. I'm using my camera mic, so I don't have to wear headphones, since no one else is going to be on this stream with me. And yeah, so we're taking a look at SHI, Return of the Warrior. I got this bad boy in yesterday, because I kind of missed the campaign, but I was still able to get the book, and it's just the book, and man, this is so fun. We'll get into that, but I'm sure everybody watching, most people watching, know about SHI. It was a big, bad girl comic in the 90s, one of the first ones to kind of explode out of the 90s. Billy Tucci, awesome creator. We got Edwin in the chat. Thanks for tuning in, brother. How's my audio sound? Are you able to hear me all right? Because I'm using my camera mic, like I said. But yeah, Billy is a vet, a comic veteran. He's been around since the 90s doing comics. Mike is good. I think I smell enchiladas. There you go. Yeah, so he's awesome. I actually met him, man, 2 years ago now, I think, at, what was the Comic Con called? Comic Con Palooza. I don't know. It was some Comic Con in Chicago. It wasn't Wizard World, but it was at the Rosemont Center. It was a smaller one over here, and I knew about him through online interactions, seeing him on streams, and I always remember seeing SHI, because it's such a striking character, as you could see some of the old covers here from back in the day. After I met Billy at that convention, I talked to him like all weekend. I was telling him about my book Magic Cop that we were just starting up back then, and talking about seeing him on streams and on his channel, and how so he's such a positive guy. Like, you talk to him about comics, you could tell that he really loves the medium. He has such a passion for it, and just from hearing him speak about comics makes you really excited about it as well. And a lot of that motivated me to do so much streaming and so much promotion for myself, because he's such a promotion machine, and not only promoting himself, but promoting all of independent comics, because that's where he started with these SHI comics. And look at that, such a great character design as you go through these covers from the 90s. After I met him, well, when I met him, he was offering his 25th anniversary SHI cover of the reprint of the first issue. And the first issue, the colors in it are amazing. The art is so good. The story, the narration, inner monologue that SHI tells during the battles, and just everything about this character is so cool that I had to go to my local comic book store and be like, hey, can you track down the original run for me? And I'm pretty sure I have all of it, almost, if not the whole thing. But these are just some of the really cool covers from back in the day. You could see striking geisha-esque character. She's a vigilante that hunts down criminals with an awesome bladed weapons. It's a really cool Japanese backstory, and we'll get into kind of the action sequences and the stuff that I like about this character. We got Stephen Rockwood in the chat. Says, yeah, Billy allowed people to order Return of the Warrior. I think that's hardcover HC on a new campaign. So I went ahead and backed the HC for. Oh no, is that the hardcover for both? Yeah, that's awesome. I didn't know that was actually available on the new campaign. So definitely check that out. We'll be talking about the new campaign as well. But yeah, Billy and I hit it off. I gave him my card. He gave me his card, which is cool. I actually think I have that. Maybe it's at work. Might be around here somewhere. And I helped him with his bags back to his hotel, which was cool. I deconstructed his art table for him or with him. And he gave me the hot DoubleTree cookie that you get at the hotel, which was really cool of him. So Billy's awesome. He's a big supporter of Zaid Comics. He's an awesome friend of the channel. And hopefully within the next week or so, he'll be coming on here talking about his new campaign, which is doing amazingly. But we're here to talk about Return of the Warrior. And of course, if you guys read the comics back in the day, the first story of SHI was called Way of the Warrior. And this is an awesome kind of full circle moment with Return of the Warrior. Another thing I like about this story, is we'll get into it right now, is that this is not a reboot, but it's a continuation. So all of the years that have passed since SHI has been published, that happens in real time. So this takes place in modern day. She is 15 years older, and she now has a daughter. Her husband is locked up in prison, and we see him in the story as well. But let's talk about the book, because this one is, I forget what this one is called, the cover actually, because there was multiple covers. This one was my favorite one on there. This book has like an uncoated feeling. It's a very earthy feeling to it, and I really like that because you don't feel that, or you don't have that a lot in comics. And that's the cover stock. The interiors is totally different. The interiors has a really nice professional glossy, so you can see the glare there. The colors are explosive in this thing. It is great production, and even though let me pull up the campaign page right now. I want to say it's around 50 pages, maybe 48 story pages. But dude, the story is killer. Like, if you guys haven't read this yet, you haven't picked this up yet, you guys need to, because by the end of the story, there's twists and turns and wow moments. There's even some panels where it's like, that's super creepy, like the imagery on the panels, and you feel like you're the character in that panel. It's like, man, if I was this character, I would have been scared. It's really, really cool. We got Stephen Rockwood says, yes, hardcover. I missed the first campaign. And Amanda B, hey Phill with 2 L's. I haven't read any SHI yet, but the storyline sounds amazing. Yeah, I would suggest, I feel like you don't really need to know the whole history of SHI to read this, because they go over it a little bit, but just for the fun of it, if you're able to pick up the first issue of SHI, it's so good to get a gist of the storyline and to see these characters back in the day, because the main bad guy from SHI, Arashi, is he's back, and he's been locked up for a while, and that's where this story kind of revolves. It's really cool to see those characters from back then and the characters from now, because the main bad guy I was just talking about, he has a character design that if I were a comic artist, I would dread drawing, because he's got this huge ornate, dragon, crazy Yakuza tattoo from the sides of his body to his back. And when you see that in the old 90s comic for the first time, it's at the end of one of the stories. It's like, wow, that is badass, man. So the story in this is, like I said, great. Billy has a writing partner who helps him with the story. Let's see, written by Stephen Peros and Billy Tucci. Amazing, for a comic book where it's like, especially a 90s comic book where it's like, you think of 90s comics where it's all art, right? And story is, crap, basically. But this, and even the stories back then, were really good. But this is like a thriller movie. Like, you could see this being made into a movie. There's some awesome horror and thriller aspects to it, twists and turns, like I said. But when you first get into it, you get this very sexy scene sequence where she is putting on her old costume for her husband with a very romantic night. And you got, look at that Billy Tucci style pin up here. No one could touch his ability to draw sexy females, and this is perfect. She realizes it's a dream sequence as it devolves into these Oni characters, these Japanese demons attacking her, which are kind of these characters from the past that have just always been haunting her through ancestry, which is an aspect I love about the character. Billy pulls that into fight scenes as well, where she has her ancestors that are warriors fighting alongside her, which is a really cool concept. Another thing I want to point out, which is very specific to storytelling with Billy, is the way he lays out his panels. He started doing this from the initial issue 1 of SHI back in the 90s, and I love it. I really haven't seen it done anywhere else. But as you can see here in the top panel, he does these little scratches that bleed the panels together. So if you're a novice comic book reader, it's very good because you know which panel to go to next across here. And this is a big kind of double page spread panel. And then it goes across all the way over here. It's amazing. And it's a really fun, dynamic way of laying out a panel. Adds to the aesthetic and design on top of being a very simple way to get new readers into comics. I love that. The story also involves SHI's daughter, HAIKYO. As you can see here, she's a sassy teenager, and the SHI's grandfather, of course, is there as well. But the basic premise, I'm sure if you guys have checked out the campaign page, or if you've seen Billy talk about it on stream, is someone is 15 years later kind of doing these copycat murders and trying to pin it on SHI. Back in the day when SHI was a vigilante, the character would murder these criminals, fight these criminals, and leave a big SHI symbol, which is, SHI is Japanese for death. So she would leave these, Japanese calligraphy symbols everywhere, either on brick walls in blood. Most of the time they would be in blood. So there's an investigation going on. The death of her grandfather's best friend, kind of bondaged up from this tree. Another aspect that I love about Billy is he is a historian. He loves doing the research and he loves the knowledge of it. So he's been writing this character for so long. He has so much of this Japanese historic knowledge in him that he knows the technical terms for everything. When he is talking about this bondage, which is called, I think it was like Sappuru. I forget what they call it. Yeah, shibari, which is a form of Japanese bondage. It's supposed to be like an elegant death. That's what they say later on in the comic. We are introduced to new characters like Dr. Blevins, who is the psychiatrist of the main bad guy, Ishiri. He's been a psychiatrist for 15 years, so he knows a lot about the bad guy, and he knows a lot about SHI herself. And it really, even though there's a lot of scenes with dialogue, you don't feel like you're being dragged down by the dialogue in this. And of course, he always puts in the action, which great paneling and perspectives on that as well. Just the jarringness and the motion going on in this book is really, really, really good. We see her daughter training with the grandfather, and the story is just so well thought out. You have the bouncing back and forth between SHI and the psychiatrist. It's something you would see in a movie. You have your main character and someone that comes in that you can't really trust, but you need to be such a big asset to take down this bad guy. The action is really amazing, and this is something I really wanted to point out. Like I said, from back in the 90s comics, we actually have a scene that's a flashback from when she was fighting Arashi, and it's colored as if it's a panel from the 90s comic. You have those great almost watercolor-esque colors when they were coloring things by hand, or the first time digital colors, because I know on the SHI run they switched colors up. I think some of them were hand colored, and then later on in the series they switched to digital color because that was the big thing in the mid 90s. But that panel just stood out to me, and it's like, wow, you see them young, you see them fighting, so cool. And then later on in the comic, when she does fight with Arashi, you could see the ancestors fighting alongside with her. It's just so cool to see this nowadays, this story continuing, and it just being such a potent story. There is a cliffhanger that it's left on, and it knocks your socks off. Billy is doing it right. He's doing it the correct way right now, because he currently has a new campaign. This one just shipped, I want to say, a couple months ago. It was before the holidays, and right when he finished shipping, he launched the campaign for the second one. So he's doubling down on this IP. He's investing in himself and his company, and his characters and the fans to really go full force in crowdfunding, and put out a bunch of SHI stories. Hats off to him. Let's see who we got in the chat. Sorry if I was, splurging out a lot right now, but this book's awesome. Unhinged Entertainment, we got Jason. Thanks for tuning in, man. He's at work though. He's not listening. I appreciate it. Amanda B, The Return is the one that started all the recent ones, right? Like many, yeah. So this is the first one for, since 15 years or whatever, since they published this character. And then the new one we'll talk about in a second, which is crowdfunding currently. Black Rose Comics is in the chat. Thanks for tuning in. I Bar Ideas. Oh, thanks, Jason, for bringing people in here. Yes, the new campaign is HAIKYO, which is the name of Anna Ishikawa, who is the secret identity of SHI. That's her daughter, HAIKYO. Joe Frago, I'm so excited to get the next SHI. Yeah, Joe, if you read this, man, I was reading it, and then it just got to a point where it's like, holy crap, like this is crazy. They twist everything. It's like a really good, movie, or just the story, man. It's a great story. Yeah, definitely. If you're able to get your hands on this through the new campaign, definitely do so. Billy did this awesome remark up here in the sun of SHI. Thank you so much, Billy, for that. Yeah, and we're gonna try to get him on this channel for a little interview about his new book. But right now, I'm gonna go through some of the imagery in the book that he has on the campaign page, because I know he has some panels here from Return of the Warrior. In conclusion to my review, I would say pick this thing up. This is one of the best indie comics I've read it's kick-ass and it's fun. It's a badass, sexy bad babe. So Billy does those the best, man. So let's see here. We got 11 people in the chat. If you guys haven't subbed already, please do so. Like the video, ring the bell for notifications. This isn't going to be a too long stream. I just really wanted to talk about this book because it's so good. And it's great to see Billy back in action. So this right here, this image is the first cover to SHI Return of the Warrior, released in the 90s. And they did of course, some really cool homage covers. And just the cover work on this is awesome. This is, we got this, I bought a book called Zombie Sama that Billy was putting out, and a preview to this book, to this SHI Return of the Warrior, was in there, and this was the cover for that. So it's the little promo pieces. And like I showed, this is the first page, I think second page of the book, where she's kind of dreaming about a romantic night with her hubby right there. And you get to see SHI in this outfit. It is just so good, man. And a little bit of glimpse into the regular life too. The paneling, like I said, so amazing. And his faces, Billy's faces are really cool. He does have some, let's see, help with the art. Illustrations, Billy Tucci, Gardenio Lima, and Ricardo Silva. And to my knowledge, I think Billy does really, really fine layouts for the pages and starts, and then he has artists do the finishes on this now. It keeps it, flowing quickly, and I know they're already pretty far through HAIKYO because, he's putting out these books as fast as possible. And so this is the finished product, and man, it's just so kick-ass. Look at that. Action shots. Billy knows those money shots, man. Wow, look at that. That's so cool. Yeah, the fighting is great. And that's something that you really get from the 90s comics. He is able to put a choreographed fight scene together. Billy knows those shots and knows how to lead you around. And at this point now, he's a veteran at comic book storytelling. So every moment, I would imagine, is very thought out. And that's what you have to do when you're writing. Got a DJ2K Comics, sexy MILF in the chat. There we go. Jasper Plan 9, thanks for tuning in. Yeah. Billy Basco in the chat. Thanks for watching, man. Appreciate you coming in here. Yeah, we're just talking about SHI Return of the Warrior. Look at that. That is beautiful. Definitely, if you're able to grab this on his new campaign, do so, because the second one, HAIKYO, is going to, lead right from this one, Return of the Warrior, into the newest one. So you want that completed story. This one's just going to knock you on your butt with it's like a Silence of the Lambs-esque story. She's hunting down a murderer, and there's twists and turns, man. It's so fun to see something like that in a superhero vigilante story. Very awesome. Oz the Great Sage in the chat. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, let's look at his new campaign now that we've talked about Return of the Warrior. Here's the newest one. The link of this one is in the description. I got some bubble tea today. Today was pretty good. I woke up really late. Did some character write-ups, sent them off to an artist to get some concepts done. And then packaged up 2 Lost Pages books that needed to be shipped out. Thank you guys for backing that. Went to the post office, dropped those off. Saw my boy Ed at the post office. That guy's he's top. He's awesome. I guess he's going on vacation next week to Wisconsin. So shout outs to Ed from the post office. And then went to get some Japanese noodles and bubble tea. It was very expensive. But yeah. Excuse me. And then, you know, came home, ate them, and now we're doing the stream. Let's see who else is in the chat. It's Phil. I'm hungry. Can we talk? After your interview with Adam, I thought I'd retouched you. I'm hungry. I mean, I guess we could talk. Hit me up. I follow you on Twitter. You can hit me up anytime. I hungry too. Yeah, everybody's hungry. Maybe it was talking about those noodles that I got. Pretty good. Anyways, Preston Acevedo in the chat. Entertain me, bitch. Lol. Yeah, I'm trying. You guys coming late. It's, what are we, 26 minutes into the stream? But we talked about SHI, Return of the Warrior. Guys, you got to get this. This story is phenomenal. The art is phenomenal. It is so, and it, even though it's like 48 pages, which is, you know, kind of standard crowdfunding page count, there's so much to this story, and the ending of it is so worth it, man. The action, the creepiness, everything. But we're talking about the newest one. This is the sequel to Return of the Warrior, SHI HAIKYO, which is the name of SHI's daughter. And look at this. He launched this right after he finished shipping, and look at, man, this is, you know, kind of not too spoilery, but it is a continuation sequel, so you're going to get that second half of this. Just looking at the art alone, but this guy is so creepy. Like, I won't tell you who this is, but he's an antagonist in here. There's a panel where you don't see this, and the next panel is the image of his face, and it's so freaky. Even though it's not even on a page turn, like some people would have put it on a page turn, but it's just it's the last panel of a page, and it's like, holy crap, that guy, that imagery of the kabuki mask is just freaks me out. Car chases in a SHI book? That's fun. Man, I'm excited. The colors are great on this thing. Just so much lore. Fun. She's got armor. Dude, she's got armor. And there's Arashi with that badass Yakuza tattoos. It's like, why would you create a character like that? That's the thing where it's like when I did Crimstone and put the tattoos on his arms, even Dan Frega, he's like, I don't think I could ever draw this character again because there's so much detail on his muscles and the tattoos on his arms. But that's the thing. Like, if, you know, Billy's creating the character himself, drawing him himself, he could put as many tattoos on the characters he wants because he's going to be drawing them. But now he could pay other people to finish the artwork, which is cool. Yeah, so just, you know, a thing to get into here is someone's kidnapped and needs to be saved in this sequel. So we'll see how that goes. Really cool to see the mother and daughter back to back. Always need those cherry blossoms. This cover's really amazing. I don't know who did this. Let's see, Chapman Gatecrasher edition. I think that's this one. Yeah, Chapman. This is great. He's also doing the first time SHI cosplay cover. I think this is the first time he's ever done. Yeah, first ever SHI cosplay cover. Which you get this chick, you know, dressed up as SHI. Really cool. I dig it. You know, Billy puts a lot of covers, a lot of content on his campaigns. But after reading the story, man, he is killing it. Seeing the book, reading the book, it's worth it. You know, just grab one of these amazing covers and go with it. So it's definitely Zaid Comics approved. Yeah. So grab it. We got Justin McClure, Jay Money in the chat. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, guys, if this is your first time tuning in, hit that subscribe and ring the bell for notifications. I'm going to be trying to stream a lot more often, and trying to find some content to make videos on. Right now, I'm kind of doing this thing where I'm making a comic animatic video, which is really cool, with one of my Lost Pages stories, kind of like a motion comic thing that I really am interested in doing. Doing like voiceover work as well. I would like to do that in the future with a bunch of comics. I know Preston was shown interest in having me do something for Doc Salem. I think that would be really fun. Do other people's books too, but it is super time consuming. But at the same time, I'm writing comics as well. So guys, check out SHI. Grab this book and the previous one. The link is in the description below. We also have links to our books at Zig Comics, which I don't really have up, but I could drag it over right here. Let's see first. Yeah, here we go. The Lost Pages is rolling. I just sent out 2 copies. One of the copies of the main book, The Lost Pages, and someone that was a backer, previous backer, that went and picked up the Myth of the Lost Pages bonus book. So guys, that's available too. If you guys missed out on the bonus book, definitely check that out. And yeah, subscribe for more MILF. Everybody loves SHI. She is a MILF, and maybe we'll have more interviews with MILFs and stuff like that. It's all what you guys want. What do you guys want to see as a subscriber? I'm open to it. Yeah, grab the Lost Pages, and the newest thing that we're coming out with. I can actually pull up the thing we posted today on my Twitter. Is Magic Cop 2. We kind of blasted out of the gate into crowdfunding with Magic Cop 1. Let's see, here it is right here. It's a super fun 1980s crime action comic book in the shades of Miami Vice and Halloween Town. It is thick. It's a thick boy, as they say, with 2 C's, 92 pages, 4 issues of awesome 80s madness. And we're coming back with Magic Cop 2. This one is Magic Cop 1, Drop Dead Legs. And Magic Cop 2 is on its way with the booty. Magic Cop 2 White Lines, as you can see, an awesome new colored page from my, oh, there it is. You guys weren't able to see it before. Awesome new colored page from my brother and Eugene, our amazing colorist. Just killing it here. It's going to be a lot of action, a lot of fun. Basically, the premise to this is, if you guys read the first Magic Cop, there is a drug in the city called pixie dust. That's basically like cocaine. Well, someone's taken pixie dust and altered it to turn it into this drug where if you snort it, then you get magical powers. So all these junkies are running rampant in the city with magical powers. And it's going to be a ton of fun. The team has to figure out who is making this drug and selling it on the streets. And at the same time, someone calls in a hit to one of the cops. And the headless hitman, a contract killer, is hunting down one of the police officers on Ambrosia PD. And so they have to deal with that as well. Of course, we got fast cars, hot beach babes, and even hotter crime. The only detective with the spells to stop it is Magic Cop. That's right. So that's Magic Cop 2. It's going to be, like I said, a ton of fun. So we're rocking and rolling with our comics, and so is Billy Tucci. He is definitely rocking and rolling with his SHI, and you guys need to check it out because it was a ton of fun to read, and really a comic that leaves me wanting more from this storyline. We got Leroy in the chats. Thanks for tuning in. Leroy says, hey. He says, where is it? George and I are doing a best albums of the 90s stream tonight, Phil, if you want to join us so we can laugh at you. Well, I don't think there is a good album from the 90s. I don't know. I'd have to do some research. Maybe tonight's date night, so I'll probably be watching some movies, eating some food. But maybe I'll tune in, and I'll have to think of some good 90s music. I think, Goo Goo Dolls, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Stone Temple Pilots, Sugar Ray. Yeah, I think Sugar Ray's at the top there. So, I mean, there's a lot you can go through now that I think about it, Leroy. I've been looking for a while. Yeah, thanks for tuning in, man. Definitely pick up SHI. It is amazing. It's fun. And Billy's such a great guy. He's such a advocate for indie comics. It's kicking ass. All right, people. Thanks for watching. You know, we've had a pretty good amount of viewers, been on for 36 minutes. And like I said, subscribe to the channel. We will see you guys next time. Peace out, everybody.